The next protocol which will ensure the serializability, it means it will ensure that in the system, it will allow multiple transaction to execute concurrently. There will be no inconsistency in the database. So for that, the first protocol was the log-based protocol. The second protocol is timestamp-based protocol. Now let's talk about timestamp. Now, what is a timestamp? Now, if we'll take the example, so what happened if you went to the Tirupati temple, you might have encountered this particular scenario in which when you enter into the temple of Tirupati, they will give you or they will tag you with some timestamp that this is the timestamp that you came into the temple, and this is the expecting time of darshan of the god. So what happened is based on the timestamp given to you, you will be allowed to go and have the uh, darshan of the deity of the god. So this is the normal procedure that they used to have in the Tirupati temple. So in this, what we understood that whenever a person will go and reach to the temple, there is a timestamp or there is a time of arrival that has been tagged to each and every person. Similarly, here also, when a transaction reach to the system or when a transaction start its operation, or you can see we have many phases, right? We have many states of transaction. So when a transaction is executing its first operation, means it is in the system. So when a transaction reach to the system, a timestamp will be given, a unique, that is a unique identifier. So in the timestamp, what will be there? So it may be depend upon, right? So it may be the date, month, year, then there is a hour, minute, second. So this is the combination of the timestamp that will be allotted to each and every transaction. It may be these in some system, or it may be these in some system. It depends upon how the system has been made for timestamp based protocol. But one timestamp will be given, and that is unique. That is unique to a particular transaction. That is unique to the particular transaction. Okay. This unique identifier is called timestamp. It is denoted as TI. Timestamp of TI denoted as TS of TI. So TI is nothing but a transaction. Timestamp of TI is TS timestamp of TI. In that way we give. So that is nothing but it is equal to some hour. Let's say right now, what is the time we have is 1918. So sorry, 9, 18, and some second. Let's say there is 25 seconds. So this is my timestamp. In some system, it may be the 10th part of the second also. So we are taking this one. So this is the timestamp allotted to one transaction when it reached to the system. If the transaction Tj enter into the system after the transaction Ti, then the timestamp of Ti will be less than timestamp of Tj. Are you getting it? What it is saying? It is saying then if another transaction come after the transaction Tj, then what is the time here? So Tj come first. So Tj is coming first, let's say at 9:18, and Ti come first at 9:18, Tj came after, so it will be 9:20. So timestamp of Ti would be always less than timestamp of Tj. What it will denote? It will denote that this is the older transaction and this is the newer transaction. Okay. So Ti is the older transaction and Tj is the newer transaction. There are two simple method of implementing this scheme. The use of value of the system clock of as the timestamp. Use the logical counter that is incremented by one after a new timestamp has been assigned. So for timestamping, it may be anything. It is saying that either you can take the system clock or you can take a counter which is incrementing after one timestamp has been assigned. The timestamp of the transaction determine the serializability order. So it says that if we'll have that timestamp, so it will determine the serializability. If timestamp of Tj is less than timestamp of Tj, Ti is less than Tj, then the system must ensure that the produced schedule is equivalent to the serial schedule in which transaction Ti appear before transaction Tj, right? So let's say Ti and Tj are the two transactions. We know that Ti came first and Tj came afterwards. So what happened in the concurrent execution, or what happened into the non-serial schedule? Some operation of Ti will perform, then some operation of Tj will perform, then some operation of Ti will perform, some operation of Tj will perform. Now, this is a non-serial schedule. If we are looking for a serial schedule of this, so always we have to make sure that Ti should appear before Tj, right? Because Ti is starting its execution before Tj. So always Ti will come first and then Tj will come afterwards. We associate with each data item X two timestamp value. So always we have different timestamp values. As you can see, we have two timestamp value we can assign to each data item. So this is the timestamp of data item. We have talked about the timestamp of transaction. Now, why it is required to give the timestamp to data item? To implement timestamp based protocol. Simple. So let's talk about this, that what are the different ways we can assign the timestamp to the particular data. Okay. Now here we have two type of timestamp here. So the first timestamp is called write timestamp and second is called read timestamp. What is a write timestamp? Timestamp, it denotes largest timestamp of any transaction that executed write operation successfully. Means if a transaction Ti has the timestamp, let's say 9:18, and Tj has the timestamp, let's say 9:20. Got it? Now, if Ti is there and Tj is there, let's say Ti has done some write operation on X. Okay. Okay. And in that way, afterwards, let's say Tj is doing some write operation on X. So if Ti will do some write operation on X, then write timestamp of X will be equal to timestamp of Ti. When? After this. Now, after some time, if we are performing this, Then what will happen? This timestamp will be changed to timestamp of Tj. Getting it? It means the right timestamp is depend upon which transaction is doing the right operation on that particular data. So that will be assigned the timestamp of that particular data. Same thing will happen to the write timestamp. It denotes the largest timestamp of any transaction that executed read operation successfully. If, let's say, here Tj has done the read operation. So what is the read operation here? It will be timestamp of Tj. Getting it? Now, let's say after that, just before this write operation, there is a read operation on X. So what is a read timestamp of Tx? It should be J or it should be I. So whose timestamp is more? So Tj has less timestamp, sorry, Ti has less timestamp and Tj has more timestamp. So it says that largest timestamp. So who is having largest timestamp? Definitely Tj is having the largest timestamp. Okay. So it will be equal to Tj only, even though Ti has done the read operation. Getting it? Why the write timestamp has been changed here? Because the write timestamp is also saying largest. Because Ti has read first and the timestamp of Tj is more than Ti. After Tj will done the write operation, we allow the timestamp of Tj to be assigned to write timestamp on X. Getting it? But in this case, if Tj is doing the read operation, so that timestamp will be allotted. And after that, we'll see that do we have to change the read timestamp of X? So if we have to see the timestamp of Ti, because time step of Ei is less than, then we'll discard the changes here. We'll keep the changes of timestamp of Tj to read timestamp on X. Okay. So there should be no confusion. We have to find it out and we have to denote the timestamp of the transaction which is recently admitted into the system. That transaction timestamp always be there in the write timestamp as well as in the read timestamp. So recently entered into the system, definitely they will get largest timestamp. These timestamps are updated whenever a new read write operation instruction is executed. It may be updated. It may be updated based on this criteria. This criteria says that it denotes the largest timestamp of any transaction that executed write timestamp successfully. It also denotes the largest timestamp of any transaction that executed read operation successfully. Now let's go to this protocol and see how it works. It's called timestamp ordering protocol. When a transaction Ti issues read request, when a transaction Ti issue read request. So there is a transaction Ti. It is issuing the read request. So for reading, can we allow or can a system will allow this read operation to Ti, the transaction Ti? Then there is a condition. What is the condition? The first condition is if timestamp of Ti, what is that? Timestamp of Ti is less than write timestamp of Tx, then Ti needs to read a value of X that was already overwritten. Hence, the read operation is rejected and TI is rolled back. This is the first condition. Okay, let's try to understand this first condition. It says that if timestamp of Ti is less than write timestamp of Tx. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is some recent transaction has already done the write operation, has already done the write operation on data item X. If the recent transaction already done the write operation and you are the older transaction and you want to read the value of X, do we allow? Because it has already been overwritten by some other transaction. So whatever you will read the wrong or the older value of X. So system will not allow it. Are you getting it? So let's assume that there are many transactions. Let's say the first transaction or before that TJ has done this operation, which is the write operation. So is this condition hold? Timestamp of Ti is less than timestamp of Tj. What is the meaning of that? It means Tj came after Ti and Tj has done the write operation. So definitely the write timestamp on X will be equal to Ts and timestamp of Ti will be less than write timestamp. This condition holds. So this condition holds means which is a recent transaction already done the updation and you are reading the data. You want to read the data. You have to suppose to read the data before some new transaction has write on it. So your read is not allowed. Your read is not allowed. This is the first. So if the operation is not allowed means you have to roll back. What is the meaning of roll back? You have to undo all your operation and then Ti will come again after some time into the system. So at that particular time, the timestamp of Tj will be less than timestamp of Ti. It means that Ti will given a new timestamp because it has rolled back all its operation and again fresh coming into the system. Now, when after this, when Ti request the read operation after the rollbacking, this condition holds, then we'll allow it. So it says that if timestamp of Ti is greater than or equal to write timestamp, then the read operation is executed and read timestamp is set to the maximum of read timestamp and timestamp of Ti. Whatever the maximum value is, read timestamp will be allotted. Second, the timestamp of Ti should be greater than the write timestamp. Means the older transaction or you, either older transaction or you has already done the write operation. So we'll allow the read operation requested by you and the read timestamp will be set to the read timestamp who at the maximum read timestamp or timestamp of Ti, whoever is the maximum will be allotted to read timestamp. Okay. So this is the rule or this is the you can say the algorithm that we have to use when a transaction will issue the read request. When a transaction will issue the read request. Now let's talk about when a transaction is issuing the write operation, then what we have to do. If the transaction Ti, the transaction Ti timestamp is less than read timestamp, then the value of X that Ti is producing was needed previously, and the system assumed that the value would never be produced. The write operation is rejected and Ti is rolled back. Now, what is this condition? It says that if transaction Ti is requesting for the write operation, and this condition holds, it means timestamp of Ti is less than read timestamp of X. Now, what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is some new transaction, already done the read. Let's say Tj is new, already done the read operation. If a newer transaction who came just now recently has already done the read operation, and after that you are looking to write on it, the system will not allow. Why? The system says if you are the older transaction, you have to do the write operation before this read. Why? Because before this read, because this transaction came after you. So you have to do the write operation before this, so that this write operation is the updated one will be given to this read. But this read is reading the value from the database. Getting it? So that's why this write operation is not allowed. This is the first condition. What is the second condition? Let's try to understand the second condition. Second condition says that let's say Ti is there. Ti is requesting the write operation. If timestamp of Ti is less than write timestamp on X. What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is some newer transaction has already done the write operation, If the system will allow you to do the write operation, then your updation is the older one or absolute one, which is of no use right now. Getting it? If you are the older transaction, if you are updating something, you have to write it earlier. But already newer transaction has done the write operation, means newer transaction has already updated the value, which is a recent one. And as a older transaction, you want to update the value, which is a older one or which is a absolute value. So will not allow it. So in that case, this write operation is not allowed. It says that if timestamp of Ti is less than write timestamp, then Ti is attempt to write an absolute value of X. The write operation is rejected and Ti is rolled back. Then what Ti will do? Ti will again come after some time as the new timestamp. It means that this is the fresh one. And now it requesting the write operation will allow it. The third condition says that if both first and second condition doesn't hold, will allow the write operation, and the write timestamp will be set to timestamp of Ti, because Ti has done the write operation. So the write timestamp will be set to timestamp of Ti, and we assume that Ti is the recent transaction. The timestamp value is more than all the other transactions. We give this particular timestamp to timestamp on X. When a transaction Ti is rejected and rolled back by the system as based on timestamp ordering protocol, then the system assign a new timestamp and is restarted, as I told you. The timestamp ordering protocol ensure conflict serializability, and it also ensure freedom from deadlock.